Hello, hello, and welcome to the lab. I'm Coach Kel, and we got Cody here.
What's up?
I don't know why I slipped in the coach. That was weird, but we'll move through it.
Just feeling coachy today.
I guess so. I don't know. Well, I think I just finished a lot of my programming for the week, so I was like signing off, like to
Yeah.
people, and I'm like, oh, I think I
Yeah,
just got
coach. I mean,
caught.
we are coaches, so it
That's true.
fits. I think you're allowed to, start off with Coach Cal.
How are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. Um, I mean, hectic because we're in the middle of getting ready to move. We're moving
Mhm.
next week, and so it just there's nothing quite like the chaos of moving because you can't pack everything because you're still living.
Yep.
You still need to use the kitchen. You still need your the everyday things, and then you're also simultaneously freaking out. Like I need to start packing, and you're just like, but I can't fucking pack. um, so it's just like basically have started just going through things to throw shit away that I don't, want to take with me or don't need. And because Des and I have, duplicates of things and we have to,
Right.
figure out what we need or who should keep what or, so,
Yeah.
and then just the whole moving, running a business, all the things. So it's a lot.
It's a lot. How
Yeah.
far away is the new place from the your current place?
It's only like 15 minutes. It's actually like closer to only like 5 miles, but of course with traffic, it's 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Uh, so the downside is that it is further away from my gym. It's like 15 minutes away from my gym. And that sucks because I'm used to riding my boosted board to the gym. I could walk if I wanted, a car breaks down. Yeah, fuck it. Like, I'll just walk home. So that's going to be the biggest downside. But the new place is close to absolutely everything else I need in the same parking lot. There is a Safeway. There's a Chipotle. There is a Quest Diagnostics. There is a
Hell yeah.
UPS store, like literally right there. Oh,
Everything.
Starbucks. And then across the street is my literal like where I do my ketamine clinic. So
Oh,
it's like I don't need a car for anything but the gym. So it's kind of backwards, but it's all good. But it's a great little community. We saw our new place because you know how you have like a layout and you're going by that, and it's kind of a guessing game. Like, so this is kind of what our place is going to look like. But we're right next to the community garden, literally right
oh
next to
hell
it.
yeah.
Like our windows is the view of the community garden and stuff. So
That's fun.
that's fun. We get to take advantage of that. It's downstairs. So with my old man knees, I won't have to, potentially like kill myself getting up the stairs. Because I was like, if I ever have whatever next knee surgery I need, how the hell am I
Yeah,
going to
no
survive?
kidding.
So there's definitely a lot of upsides to it. And, of course, this is the first time I'm moving in with a partner since my marriage, which sounds really fucking
Ooh.
weird. um, but yeah, if anyone knows my history, you'll know, the story. But it's been forever since I've lived
Uh-huh.
with a partner. And so new chapter and, it'll be good. Excited. Definitely lots of
Mhm.
change. Change is scary, but it's, in a good way. Mostly my anxiety is like routine disruption of moving. Uh, so, anyways, how about you?
That's a good bit of stuff, man. That's a lot to deal with. Packing and moving is the worst.
Hmm.
I hate it so much. But
Yeah.
uh, yeah, we are done moving, thankfully. But we are painting. So like I just finished the last room for right now, painting wise. So that was a pain in the butt, but we got everything painted. So I'm very excited about that. I did that last week.
Awesome.
So yeah,
Nice. That's very
yeah.
cool. So, is there like how much land do you have again? Sorry.
6 acres.
Okay.
So that's kind of why I was pushing to get the paint done. Was Like I know I'm not going to want to do any more inside project as soon as it's nice out, and it
Yeah.
was in the 70s all week. So I'm like, okay, I got to get this done, or it's not going to get done. So finished it, and yeah. So right now we're trying to get a fence in, and then hopefully from there garden, and then chickens.
Nice.
Hopefully.
I was gonna ask you if you're planning on that because you got the land and egg prices are insane. So now is the time.
Right, dude. I
So
we actually just got groceries and it was I think $11 a carton for eggs, and I was like, Jesus, this is insane. At Aldi, which is like the cheapest of all the grocery stores.
I was about to be like, welcome to California. No, I mean that's definitely expensive. You can always find $11 eggs in California if you look hard enough. Like if they're like Whole Foods, pasture raised, organic. Like we
Mhm.
specifically tuck them into bed every night, kind of thing. But uh, outside of that, they're mostly you can go lowest is probably $3.99. Average is probably like $5.99, I'd say. So
So crazy. Yeah, but
yeah.
I'm very excited to have it. We have a coop, but I am trying to beef up the security of it before we get the actual birds because there's a lot of predators in my area. We have I have a little camera up in the woods, and we've caught coyotes and foxes and even neighborhood cats and raccoons. So um,
Nice.
definitely need to beef up the security.
Yeah, especially those coyotes. Like, dude, it's crazy. We have those here. I don't know if I told you I was taking Toby out to go to the bathroom. Eh, like, I listen to music while I take my dogs out in the morning. It's dark, and he's doing his business, taking his shit, and I'm looking at my phone, so I'm not like awkwardly staring into his eyes while he takes a shit and giving him some privacy. And then I look up and there's a fucking coyote like right there, and I just freeze like. And so I wait till he's done taking his shit, and then I swoop him up,
Oh my
and I like
gosh,
start
he's
going
so
in the other
small.
direction. And the coyote was just kind of passing by, but as soon as I moved, it stops, and it's like literally staring at me as I walk away. I'm like, please
Oh
don't
my
chase me,
god,
please don't chase me.
that's so scary.
Oh,
Ugh.
sorry, random, but
No,
yeah,
no, they scare me too, and that's why I'm like, definitely need to have something a little extra for these chickens if we're keeping them outside. So
yeah. Um, do you know how much like feed is? Does it? I'm just wondering about like
I have
you
no
know
idea.
if it evens out kind of because you have like the feed cost and then you have to take care of time and
Yeah.
chicken poop and
I'm not sure. I haven't had chickens before, but Maddie has, so she's kind of taking the lead on the chicken extravaganza. Um, so I don't know.
cool.
I think it should even out probably, and I think once you get it going, we're hoping to have automatic doors and stuff, so we don't have
Nice.
to worry about putting them back in safely. Um, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. But how cool would it be to basically, supply a good amount of your own food with the garden? You got the eggs and stuff. So just doing that kind of feels good. You're like, I know exactly where my food came from. My
Yeah.
backyard.
Well, and yeah, exactly. That's kind of our hope, and we also joined. I forget what they're called. CSA, the farm shares, the produce farm shares,
Yeah.
and so our box starts in 2 weeks, I think. So I'm very excited.
Those are so fun because it's almost like an episode of Chopped because sometimes you don't know what you're getting, but it's seasonal. So you get a lot of fennel depending on the season. So get used to that. But yeah, those are fun because then you learn new how to cook new things because it's just whatever
Mhm.
they give you. So yeah, enjoy that.
That's exactly. I'm like, I'll be forced to add some more variety, which is
Hmm.
always kind of fun.
I mean, I should fucking do that for the sake of I'm really bad at just on my own doing variety.
Exactly.
So it's just like I used to do that, but it's because I ordered things like CSA or there's the imperfect produce. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. But it's cool. It's like discounted produce that they don't sell in the grocery store. So you're helping prevent food waste, but also it's cheaper produce delivered to your door. It's perfectly fine. It just might be misshaped. So it's like you don't understand like how much actual food waste there is that doesn't even make
Right.
it to the shelves because it's shaped weird. So that's fun because then you feel like you're like saving the environment and then also
Mhm.
just getting cheaper shit. So
It's awesome.
uh,
Fun. I can't wait for summer produce. Yay.
same fruit. Do you have a favorite summer fruit?
I really love watermelon, and I feel like it
Same.
is at its heyday in the summer, so
Oh
I really
yeah.
enjoy that. Strawberries also. I think those would
Yes.
probably be my two favorite, which I know is basic as hell, but they're
I
basic for a
mean,
reason.
yeah, because most everybody loves them. Um, I think those two, and then cherries. For me, I
Mm.
love cherries. So kind of annoying with the
Too
pit,
lazy for
but
things with pits. Yeah.
yeah, that part's definitely a little annoying, but they're tasty.
Hmm. Yeah. Did we want to talk about anything catch your eye on Twitter recently?
um, you know, I think there's still I think the latest thing I saw, there's still the bullshit that it, it riles me up a bit with Sarah McBride, you know, the trans congresswoman, where they still keep purposefully misgendering her, you know,
Mhm.
when she goes up to speak. And she's, you know, handling it with so much class and just, she's definitely the adult in the situation. Um, but basically, the other Republican congresswomen, Nancy Mace being one of them, they're relentless. They keep posting her before transition photo, or keep saying like posting her photo and saying this is a man, that sort of thing. I'm just kind of like, how old are we? This is some mean girl shit. I
For
don't
real.
understand what happened to overall maturity as a society. I just, I don't get it.
No, that's freaking ridiculous. I did see that. Um, ugh, it just makes me so mad because it's just also even if you were a constituent and you were a Trumper, like, is this the best like use of time and money spent on a job?
No, no. Like, that's the thing. Like, she's just literally trying to do her job, and people keep, or they keep, you know, accusing her of being a distraction or, you know, just talking about being trans. It's like, you are literally the people who are making it this distraction. She has said multiple times she's only concerned about representing the people of Delaware. And just let her do her job. I just don't get it. Uh, if she's doing her job, what else does it matter? You know, someone could identify as a fucking dinosaur, and as long as they're doing what they're supposed to do, just like let them fucking do what they want. It's a bigger problem if people are not doing their jobs. So, yeah.
Yep, I agree. I've really dialed back this week, especially from a lot of the socials. I don't know why. It was just like I was not on social media as much this week. Um, so I feel like a little out of touch, but I'm also like I don't feel like anything's changed because I usually listen to NPR in the morning to catch up on like just like the headlines to see like general what direction the world is going for the day, and everything's felt the same during uh, headlines really, and I'm like, so it's nothing's going on, nothing's getting better, nothing's getting terribly worse, I suppose.
Yeah. I know there was like possible government shutdown happening over the,
It's pretty bad, yeah.
you know, the bill or the spending or the budget, whatever, um, which I think that ended up not happening. I've not also been on socials as much. Uh,
It's been so hard. It's hard to get stay on if I'm being honest.
yeah, I mean, honestly, sometimes it's harder to not stay on, but I've been like purposefully trying not to because it doesn't do me any good unless there's something very vital or productive happening. Right now, I feel like it's just a lot of back and forth. I think the other biggest thing that has been interesting to me personally is there's been some infighting happening because of the lack of production of the Epstein files. I thought that was kind of fucking hilarious because they're all expecting Trump to be the guy who is going to release the files, and like they're all mad because they said that they had them, they're going to release them, and they still haven't. And they said it was a national security issue. And so they're like, you're making Trump look guilty, essentially. And they're like, well, what if he fucking is? You
Yeah.
brainwashed asshole. Like, you have to ask the question, right? Uh, if things are still not getting released under Trump, what does that mean? So put two and two together and just think for a second. And yeah, so there's been a lot of back and forth within conservatives blaming, I think her name's like Pam Bondi or whatever. She's the one that's supposed to release them. She said they were on her desk. It's been a big nothing sandwich. They did this thing where they released them to a bunch of conservative influencers, but it was nothing that they had not already released. It was bullshit. Uh, so it just looks real bad.
I mean, not shocked
No,
at all. But
no.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm realizing right now that we didn't even introduce the topic when
Who
we
needs a
started
topic? No, just kidding.
when we started the podcast. We kind of just dove straight in. But today we are going to talk about training to failure, drop sets, and that kind of thing. So do we want to go ahead and transition into?
Yeah, we could do that.
All right. So training to failure and drop sets. Do we want to, I guess, talk about what the differences are and that kind of thing?
Yeah. Do you want to go over like all the different types of sets? Because there's drop sets, supersets, uh,
Yeah.
reps. There's the rest
All right. There we
sets.
go.
Yeah, RPE, RR. That all sounded like not English. Uh, there's
Jargon.
yeah, partial reps. Yeah, all the things that
All right.
intensifiers for
Intensifiers.
training.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to go over them? Do you have the definitions up that you wanted to use, or I can
Should we start
pull them
with
too?
training to failure? I could start with that
Let's do
one if
that.
you want.
Sure.
So yeah, so train to failure is just literally doing a movement until you can't physically do one more. So that's physical failure, but there's mechanical failure. So that's when you do a movement till you can't do it properly anymore with a proper form. So sometimes even if you could do more of an exercise, you might want to stop there if your form breaks down so you don't hurt yourself and that sort of thing. So that's failure. Do you want me to go over like pros and cons of that,
Yeah.
like the
Sure.
importance of that, or because everyone, I think, like there's the whole, it goes in phases, right? At some point, it's like train to failure is bad, don't do it, and then it's like you have to train to failure. You're not gonna make. It's like we go back and forth. Personally, I think train to failure on like isolation movements is great. It's fine. It's not going to cause any sort of downsides. It's when you're doing compound movements to failure, which it can fatigue you a little bit more, which in turn could impact your recovery. And there's studies that show that training within 1 to 2 reps of failure is just as beneficial, but it's hard to gauge that at first if you're just starting out. So isolation movements is where I say usually practice going to failure so you learn what that feels like because it's safer. You're not going to drop something on yourself or get crushed by something. We've
Mm-hmm.
seen that happen. Oof. Which did you, by the way, see that Indian girl who tried to squat like 600 pounds and died? I'm
No,
sorry,
go
I'm
ahead and
laughing.
talk about it.
Yeah, no. I was like, that recently just happened. That popped in my head. It was really bizarre and stupid, but I'm not going to get sidetracked. So, ADD, what's up? Okay. So, benefits, of course, is like recruiting more muscle fibers. You are pushing yourself to the point where your body is going to have to adapt. And that's what you want. You want to break down muscle so that your body knows to make changes, to repair, to get stronger. Because it's like, we're going to need to get stronger. Yeah. Um, but again, you just have to consider the potential downsides of if you're going to potentially overtrain, if you're going to not be able to recover from that for days, and then in turn, you're not going to get enough volume in because you're wrecked.
Mhm.
And these things can be impacted by genetics, age, uh, supplementation, PEDs, that sort of thing. That is all.
Experience.
Yeah, that'll play a role in how you recover. Um, so yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah, so that's training on failure. So drop sets and that are an intensifier that's kind of similar to going to failure, except for you go to failure on one weight set and then you drop it to a different weight, a lower weight, and then you just kind of keep going. That's kind of what drop sets are. Some people really like these. I don't use them a ton, but it's kind of the idea of going to failure, but even more.
Yeah.
Because you're like, let's lower the weight and do it again.
Yep.
So it's just a way to kind of make it even more difficult. Again, it's kind of the same pros and cons here, um, just because it's essentially using the same kind of thought process.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like drop sets are great when you hit a sticking point. So if it's like lateral raises and you can only get uh, 8 at a certain weight, but your rep range is 15, and you've been stuck at the certain weight for 8 forever. So then do as many as you can with that weight for 8, and then drop it down, go lighter, and then hit 15. And that can sometimes like help push you up so you can go up in weight, eventually, because it's just like the shoulders specifically are so stubborn to grow or to like get stronger because it's such a small muscle group. So sometimes like drop sets can be helpful, kind of pushing through a plateau with strength, at least in my personal experience. But yeah,
Yeah, love that. Awesome.
let's see. Should we go over about rest pause?
Rest pause here.
Um, so yeah, rest pause. Basically, it's a lot like a drop set, only you don't drop the weight. So you take it, to failure, near failure. You rest for like 10 to 20 seconds, and then you do another like repeat set. Normally, you just go until you can't anymore with that next set. Some training plans might tell you to do like, you know, 12, rest pause, 8 or something. But a lot of the times it's so hard to actually match that number. It's just like, just go until you can't. Just make it easier
Yeah.
on yourself. Count how many you can get, write it down, and just know. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, same kind of benefits. It just lets you add more volume and then up the intensity of it. But yeah, you have to be careful about fatigue and recovery and that sort of thing. So yeah.
And then we got going like doing partials after you go, and that's kind of the same idea again of going a little bit further past what you've been doing. So if you go, a lot of times I see these in lateral raises. With lateral raises, you go until you can't anymore at full height, and then you kind of just go like a quarter way. You can also do these in curls. It's just another way to kind of make it more intense to again push you past those barriers.
Yeah. Or it's like if it's hard not to judge sometimes, but if you say you have like a knee injury and you can't squat all the way down, but you're allowed, like you can squat partially, I say it's better than nothing. And it's at least, you can practice, or even if you hold at like a certain point as you're squatting down, if you can't, like bad knees or whatever. So there is some, you know, moments that you might want to use partials, if it's the only amount of range of motion that you don't feel pain in. It's like better than
Yeah,
nothing.
absolutely.
Um, but just using partials, I've seen, and then don't do that. Like try to use full range of motion as much as you can until you can't. Yeah.
Yes, agree.
Let's see.
um,
Is there more? Should we talk about like the different set types. So like straight sets, um, you know, basically this is what I program the most because it's straightforward. No pun intended, but it's just the easiest to be able to log and track your progress with because it's just same weight, same reps all across the board. So you do like 3 sets of 10. Nothing changes. There's no intensifiers. There's no rest pause. It's less confusing. And you just do that to either like 1 or 2 reps until failure or to failure, whatever your training plan instructions say. So that's just straight sets. And I will say, like, I use this the most. I don't use intensifiers too much, at least not in this moment. I have in the past, and I've found, I think that, like, personally for me, rest pauses tended to be the most, like efficient, or I saw, the most benefit in rest pauses as opposed to any other like intensifier. But more oftentimes than not, I'm just doing straight sets and making sure I'm focusing on progressive overload. And I think that's like the main thing to hit home is you don't have to overcomplicate it. You can see a lot of
Yeah.
progress without even using intensifiers as long as you are focusing on pushing up the weights or sets or volume and making progress, that sort of thing. But yeah, that's straight sets. Very simple.
The only other thing I wanted to say along with that is making sure people are doing the form correctly, because I feel like a lot of times people really want to add in um, these intensifiers when they're just, if they would just focus and really lift to the full weight, um, you wouldn't need to add as much intensifiers in.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, yep.
Um, so I guess we have supersets. Supersets are just when you do two movements right back to back and then do your rest. These are really great if you're running out of time, if you're on a really tight time crunch,
Yeah,
and need to make your workouts faster. That's a good way to do that without disrupting too much.
yeah, yeah. For those, they're fun because you get a nice pump. And you can do them 2 different ways. So there's like antagonist superset. So maybe like you're doing chest press and you're pairing it with like some sort of pull movement, like cable pull. Uh, that one's fun because like I feel like it's more efficient because you're not hindering as much. Like you're not too tired to do the second movement because you've already put too much energy out for the first, that sort of thing. So it's great when you're short on time. You can get a lot done. You can do like a chest and back workout in the same workout and not spend too much more time. Um, or there's like same muscle. So maybe you're doing a superset that's fun because you get a really fucking great pump is like doing push-ups and then going into doing dumbbell presses or bench press. So most of the times people do supersets because it feels awesome, but it's not the greatest, most efficient way to make progress. So try not to do it for like entertainment purposes, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. No, I do love. So I my favorite supersets are to do the arm, biceps and triceps,
Yes,
because you get a
that's a
full
good one.
arm pump.
Yeah, those are like absolute favorite because then your arms feel huge.
Huge.
You're like, oh yeah, I'm yoked today. It's great.
Yep, feeling good.
Um, yeah, let's see. So there's also off of that, there's giant sets, which is basically like supersets, but with like 3 or more movements, which you're just an asshole at this time taking up 3 pieces of
Unless
equipment.
you have your own gym.
Yeah. Like it's unless it's super chill and empty, you're most likely not going to be doing giant sets very often.
Mm-mm. Nope. Nope. Cool, but again, we go over all these and to kind of just help people understand the different types of things and the different tools in the toolbox. But again, you're gonna make the most progress by really focusing in on that progressive overload and that mind muscle connection, making sure that you're hitting things at a really heavy weight and you're really focusing on getting better over time as opposed to going as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And doing as
Yeah.
much as possible is not always the answer.
Yeah. So it's like that's why I always recommend straight sets, especially if you're a beginner. Um, and then train to failure on isolation movements if you're a beginner to learn what that feels like. Um, and as you advance, you can experiment with different intensifiers. But ultimately, it's like the better you focus on your form and stuff without jumping into that yet, you know, I think you're most set keeping it simple. Like everything is better when you keep it simple.
Absolutely, absolutely. Got anything else to say about this one?
mm, should we cover? I mean, these are not very common. I use them sometimes because they can be fun, but pyramid sets, where you like change, like it goes in a pyramid either up or down. So
Oh
it's
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
ascending, descending. So maybe you start with like 15 reps and then you do like 12, 10, 8, and you go down. And as you go down, the weight goes up. I really like those because it's kind of a nice, it's almost like warming up.
I
Um,
love them, especially
yeah,
for big movements that you could go heavy on. I
yeah,
think it's so nice.
same. And the reverse way, it's cool because you get to go your heaviest when you're fresh, but it takes so much longer because you have to warm up still. Whereas like a pyramid set going the other way, it's almost got the warm up built in, and that's why I like those better.
Same, same, same.
Yeah. So
Agreed.
I
Especially
think
on leg days. That's for my favorite for squats was the pyramid style squats.
yes, perfect for. I mean, I miss just squats in general, but um, yeah, man. Sometimes I'm like, I never thought I'd be that guy that like didn't squat anymore.
I mean, I hardly ever squat. I on the hack squat machine is the most I squat. So.
Yeah, it's like either backs or knees are gonna give out at some point, and then you just turn into the leg press guy.
Yep.
uh, no.
Gosh. All right, what power talk you got for us today?
Let's see here. So, um, this one that I have. All right, I'll just say it. I never had to know how to introduce the power talk. I'm like, today we have a power talk of I don't know who even said it. So uh, every act of conscious learning requires the willingness to suffer an injury to one's self-esteem. That is why young children, before they are aware of their own self-importance, learn so easily, and why older persons, especially if vain or important, cannot learn at all. I like that because it just shows like as we grow older, as we become more aware of what people are thinking, their opinions, like we have this ego to where we don't want to mess up, but in turn, it hinders our learning. And yeah, it's not a good thing. So we're just stunting our learning possibilities, our growth as a person, whereas kids, they're just they're like fuck around and find out. They don't care.
Yeah.
So we're just like so cautious and we never get anywhere.
Yeah, that's so true. I took a welding class yesterday. It was like my first
Nice.
thing ever, and the teacher said something I really liked because I was like, uh, "Here, I have my little thing." So these are like my little test welds, and I'm like, "Ooh, that's not very good." She's like, "Well, since this is the fifth weld you've ever done, I don't think we need to expect it to be that good." I'm like, "It's a fair point." It's a fair point.
That's awesome. Sounds like you have a good welding teacher.
Yeah, I think but I do think that is something that people lose, and I also think maybe us neurodiverse folks have a really hard time with not being good at things first go
Oh
round.
yeah.
So
It's rough. It really is. It's just like giving yourself permission to suck at something when you start. It's really hard because you just won't expect that you're just gonna be good at it, and that's not how it works.
never is, never
Nope,
is.
nope, nope,
Well,
no,
well, it
no.
was a shorty, but I think it was a good one today. If anybody has anything they want to hear us talk about or want our opinions on, please, please, please drop it anywhere where you can find us. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anything else you got, Cody?
yeah. I think just give us a follow. Make sure to subscribe and share if you found this helpful. Check out our Instagram. We are decently active on there, so you can DM us if you have any suggestions for topics. I think that's probably our biggest request always. Like, if there is any topics you would like us to talk about, please let us know, because we 100% want to talk about things that you need help on and you want to hear about. We could talk about like politics and all that shit forever. Um, or if that's something you enjoy, let us know that too.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
anybody who wants to come on and have a conversation, has a topic they want to talk about, let us know.
Yep. Oh, and join the Discord, the channel.
Heck yes.
Yes, you can let us know there too. What topics?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So the link for the
All right.
Discord will be in the description, but also don't forget to subscribe.
Hell yes. Until next time, talk to y'all later.
Peace out.